This fluorescent light fixture went out a few days ago. It's from over there in my workroom. So I took it down and took it apart and checked the various components with my multimeter. So I checked this end out, and there's two identical circuits, one for each of the tubes. And there's two of these transformers and two of everything. Anyway, this transformer and the one on the other end, it's right there by the multimeter, right there. Both check the same, and I checked all the components in this circuit board. I didn't check the transistors, but the capacitors and the diodes and resistors, I checked all those, and they all read the same. Until I checked the capacitor. It's this big electrolytic capacitor, and I've got the multimeter set at capacitance in microfarads. And I'm just going to put the probes on this capacitor, and it shows 5.09-ish for a microfarad's capacitance. And the one on the other end, I took it out because when I checked it before, it checked overload, and I'm just going to show you this. So it checks overload on this. So I know that this capacitor is bad because the light bulb doesn't light up that this one services. Well, I tried to find this capacitor on the net, and it just was not available anywhere. Amazon, electronic supplies. So I started to look for used fluorescent lights to try and get this, but you don't know what's in a fluorescent light until you actually take it apart. And the folks were asking almost new prices for the fluorescent lights. So I checked LEDs, and I found LEDs that light from one end of a fluorescent light fixture off of 120 volts direct. So I bought 10 of them, and I'm going to convert all my lights in the basement to that. This end of the LED tube connects directly to 110 power. So I'll disconnect all these wires and just wire up this end to 110, take all this out, and I'll have new lights that are more efficient. The LEDs cost about $8 a piece, whereas the fluorescents cost about say $4 or $5 a piece. But all these components are going to end up going bad after a while anyway. So I think it's the right decision to go LED. I have all the components out of that end of the light fixture, and I'm finishing up on this end of the light fixture. Alright, so I've got one side of the AC power going in here. The other side is going to go in here, and then I'm jumping from this side to this side of this tombstone, and I'll jump from this side to this side of the light fixture for the other tube. Then strip this side of the incoming power, 14 gauge. So here's the other side of the incoming power. It goes to this side of one of the lights and the same side of the other side of the lights. I put the cap back together, and I'm ready to plug it in. Well, success. This took no more than 30 minutes. For the next light, I chose to convert from fluorescent to LED. the fixture was different than the first one. It had circuit boards on both sides. So this is the power side, and there was a whole bunch of components over here. I took all those off. These copper strips are where the tubes connect, and the way this fluorescent light worked was power went in on this side, down one of the fluorescent tubes, over to the other one, and back up to this side. So both of these connections were on they weren't separated. So to make the LEDs work, I had to separate these two sides. So what I did here was I cut the trace and then peeled off the copper to make sure that this side and this side were no longer connected. Now what I'm going to do is run power to this side, and I already checked. This right here is the hot side of the incoming power, and I already jumpered over from that power lead to this fuse. What I'm going to do then is jumper from this fuse, from this trace here to this trace. I'll put a jumper wire just like this one, and that'll bring power to this contact on one tube. And if you follow the trace, it goes up here, around here, over to this contactor for the other tube. And then I'll connect the neutral lead of the power supply from here to here, and then connect this end of the copper strip to this side, and I'll have both connections made then. The connections are complete, and we'll plug it in to see if it works. Success! Now I hope this video helped you make decisions about any fluorescent lights that you might have left in your house. If you liked it and it was of value to you, share and like. Thanks for watching.